Good morning. The time is 11 o'clock and we're ready to get going with today's event. My name is Philip Coombs and today I have the pleasure of welcoming Rivertech back to the HC Andersen Capital platform. Joining us today to present the Q3 results and give a deep dive into the different product verticals, we have Rivertech CEO Luke Chantar and CFO Sean Bazina. Before we begin, I'd quickly like to remind everyone that you can ask questions throughout the presentation. Under this new video system, the chat function is below the presentation, which you can hopefully see clearly, and we'll take the questions during the Q&A at the end. So I'd like to pass over to Luke and Sean to take the presentation from here.
Good morning, and thank you, Philip. Happy to be here. So we are delighted to be coming from another successful quarter. As announced this morning, our results are speaking for themselves. Also, earlier this month, we announced the onboarding of a new client and a project. We have been selected to design and develop a website management system for a marketing and affiliation company. As the agenda states, today we're going into a deep dive of how Rivertech works and some of our products and verticals. So basically, we'll be taking a closer look at our tried and tested process for project delivery and touch on some of the other work that we're doing. We kick off with our business development and account management team. They are in touch with our clients and the tech trends that are happening around us. They gather all the high-level requirements from the clients, and they serve as a communication channel between us and the clients that we have. Once the high-level requirements are agreed upon, our team of product specialists design and document all the necessary features and functionality that needs to be achieved from a product or a project that we'll be working on. With all the requirements ironed out, our team of skilled and dedicated developers bring the vision that is on paper to life. They code it into reality. But obviously, we do not stop there. We take pride in the products and the functions that we build, and our team of quality assurance engineers make sure that what we build performs as expected before being handed over to our clients for consumption and use. Obviously, all this needs a robust and reliable infrastructure to operate and run on. That's where our team of DevOps comes in. They facilitate all the tooling needed for our developers and our teams within Rivertech to do their day-to-day tasks. To touch a bit more on the project that I mentioned earlier, the website management system, we are aiming to deliver phase 1 of this project by Q1 23. This solution will allow the client to operate, their operational team, to churn out new websites in their marketing network easily based on the predefined templates that we are preparing. The custom tooling will also facilitate the management of the content of these websites all from a single point of location. So like that, they can manage hundreds of websites from one interface. The project will bring with it 2 forms of revenue for River. Obviously, the cost for the development of the different milestones for this project, and also the ongoing maintenance and support once the product is live. To touch upon a bit more on our other ongoing projects, we are still showing a successful partnership with our current clients, with a 0% churn on clients. New works being requested on a daily basis keeps us busy with a healthy roadmap for 23, which in turn strengthens our products and makes it more appealing for future clients. The gaming platform that River owns keeps on being a showcase of our technical capabilities, with continued effort to add new features and verticals to the offering, like the introduction of a sportsbook vertical within the offering. Obviously, with all this in hand, we focus heavily on the security and compliance of the product in order to safeguard our partners and their clients when it comes to different regulations that they'll be working with. Now, that brings us up to the financials, where Sean will give a couple of words on the Q3 report that was submitted this morning.
Sean, I think you're on mute if you're able to unmute.
Thank you, Luke. When we look at this quarter, it's more of a continuation of what we have been presenting and the financial status of the company. The revenue has continued to grow. We can see quarter on quarter, every quarter, we've managed to add more revenue to the company. We've been doing this organically so far through the customers that we already have. And as we have announced a couple of weeks ago in the market, we have also added a new customer whereby that revenue will start featuring from the next quarter onwards. So it's a healthy path for the company to continue to grow, maintaining the same revenue streams and growing them organically, and also adding new customers on board so that we can have more diversification in terms of a client base and as well higher revenues. Looking at comparing Q3 this year to Q3 last year, there has been significant improvement. Still using the same foundations as I have explained in terms of the revenue, maintaining strong hold on the cost base, growing the revenue in line with the ratios that we have as our targets to maintain profitability. The profitability is quite healthy. It has helped us have a sound financial structure whereby we are accumulating cash, settling our debts, and have a good financial future. All KPIs, as shown on the slide, have been quite positive and give us a good stepping stone for the future to continue to grow and invest in our business. I think that's all for the presentation. We can now move on to some questions, Phil.
Perfect. Thanks for giving the presentation. We've got some questions throughout, so we'll take them in order here. And the first one asks, it says the revenue growth of 22%, was that all generated organically, or was that all generated organically?
Yes. Until Q3, all the revenue increases have been organic through the same underlying clients that we have through our partner. We have now added a new client in, which will be visible in Q4, as we have mentioned to the market. So growth in Q4 will come through new clients rather than organic. We have been focusing on the organic growth because our customers' demands, as Luke mentioned earlier, keep on keeping us busy, and we have a long roadmap with them to continue to expand and improve their product.
And regarding the organic growth, has that been increased upselling, or has that been growth of the service support in line with the customers growing?
I'd say it's a little bit of both, because as a team, we try to be proactive and offer additional upgrades and new features to the product that we have. But we also have the client always requesting new functionality. So it's a really good partnership that we have, and it helps from both ends. It helps us develop a better product when they give us feedback, and it helps them receive a better product when we come up with certain upgrades that can help their business.
That makes sense. And staying on this topic, we've got a question asking which area of the business you expect to be the biggest driver of growth moving forward.
At this point in time, it's obviously continue improving, and you're never really ready, right? You're always doing more, you're always improving. So the growth comes from new functionality and new verticals within the sphere that we're working with. But we're also looking and discussing with other clients to enter other verticals similar to what we announced this month. We've mentioned before that we are looking into projects within the fintech space, and we are eagerly looking and wanting to use our expertise, our technical expertise within that area as well. And a fruitful partnership will hopefully be announced soon.
That's great, thank you. And if we walk it back to the slide which discusses the churn, we have a question asking how long the contracts are and when are your customers or when is the renegotiation period in relation to the churn rate of 0%?
We have different contracts which have different termination periods. Most of the contracts have possible extensions at similar rates. When you look at the revenue, which is split in two verticals, you have the licensing revenue and you have the support services. The support services obviously are a demand and supply metric, whereby we are running at a certain capacity, which is agreed between the parties, and we continue to generate that amount of revenue every month. The licensing revenue have finite contracts, but most of them are renewable, and we expect that to continue in the near future to extend the periods that we have.
That's great, thanks for that. The next question we have asks around the plans for dividends. Are there still plans to pay a dividend in 2023?
There are plans to settle the debt by Q2 2023, as we have mentioned in the past. Once we've done that, we will start accumulating cash, and the first consideration for a dividend to be presented to the board will be end of 2023, in line with a policy that will be presented to shareholders so that they will know beforehand what to expect from the company. We prefer to give the shareholders notice and advice on what we intend to do, and we'll continue to do so in the next presentations leading up to H1 2023.
That's great, thanks. And we have a question here asking about some of the macro themes at the moment and the ongoing energy crisis and the potential recession in Europe. How do you expect that can affect your business?
As I mentioned in the revenue models, the energy crisis and the inflation recessionary periods, we don't expect much to impact River as a company. Reason being is that we have an agreed roadmap with our partners, and we know what to expect, and we can predict what's going to happen quite reasonably accurately in the next 12 to 18 months. Now, in the whole economic sphere of the world, I don't think that the recession, this is obviously my personal opinion, will last too long. I think all the central banks are doing their utmost to keep it as short as possible if it happens. And then there will be an obvious turnaround after that. By that time, hopefully, River will have added more clients on board in new verticals and continue on its journey.
And if we stay on this theme, the labour market, especially within tech, has been tight for the last year or longer. Have you started to see any loosening in the market, in the labour market, or can you see advantages if the labour market was to loosen slightly?
Within the market here in Malta, yes, we do see people moving from and looking for new opportunities. We can't say that we're stagnant with regards to our recruitment drive because it's quite healthy. It's a challenge, obviously, and that's why we also look at other localities. Given the fact that we do have an office in Poland as well, that helps obviously have a different team of potential candidates. Whilst we're also looking at other European cities in order to see what talent there is, obviously benchmark the cost, and then recruit accordingly. If a certain city makes sense, we are not. We would like to obviously then support the people that we find there in order to open up another remote office like we did in Poland when we had the resort.
That's great, thank you. We also have a question here from Peter Hansen that says, thanks for a great presentation. So your revenue is dependent on traffic for your clients. Can you elaborate a little on how you acquire new clients?
No, our revenue is not dependent on traffic from our clients. There are two verticals of revenue. I'll go into the detail again. One is licensing revenue, which has fixed monthly fees, which are payable to the company, irrespective of the underlying business. The second is service and support, which is practically supply and demand. So the more we build, or the more we develop, the more we build. We have agreed with our partner for the foreseeable future an amount of man hours that we allocate to their project, and that will continue for the next few months for sure.
The last part of the question was, could you elaborate a little more on how you acquire new clients as well?
Yes. So new clients, obviously, the best selling technique is word of mouth. So we do not have a business development team which goes out and looks for clients, but we use our partners and resellers to use their contacts to reach out to other parties. The best selling technique is reputation and know-how of the clients that you already have.
Great, thanks for that. I can see we've got through all of the questions now, so this is a good time to end. I'd like to thank both Luke and Sean for joining us today, and we'll look forward to our next event.
Thank you, Philip.
Thank you,
Thanks everyone for joining. On to the next one.
Thank you.